Karina May Sandra Salmon, and today we will be discussing about symbols used in making plumbing plans. So what is plumbing plan? A plumbing plan is used to show clearly the location of fixtures, sanitary ware, pipe work, valves, and so on. And it also illustrates how fresh water is to be supplied into a building and wastewater removed. In making plumbing plans, there should be plumbing symbols indicated. So what are plumbing symbols and what are they mean? Plumbing symbols are used when drawing house plans and diagrams. The purpose of these symbols is to indicate where the different elements of your plumbing system are located. And some of these symbols are easy to identify, but others might be more difficult to interpret. So let's start knowing and identifying these symbols. The most common symbols used in plumbing diagrams. First is plumbing pipes. Plumbing pipes are presented by different lines, and these lines will give you the idea of the plumbing layout of your home. Figuring out the exact location of your plumbing pipes is crucial since they will impact where fixtures can go and might also have an impact on the design of your home. Waste pipes. Waste pipes are presented by solid lines if they are above ground. If a waste pipe is located underground, you will use large dashes to represent it on your plumbing diagram. You will also find lines with smaller dashes, and these lines represent vents. These small dashes will be used to represent the main vent stack and well, as smaller vents are connected to the main stack. Another most common symbols used in plumbing diagrams are the water supply lines. Water supply line symbols use combinations of dashes. You can use a large dash followed by a smaller dash to represent a cold water supply line. A hot water line would be represented with a large dash followed by two smaller dashes. And if you have a hot water return line, you will need a large dash followed by three dots. Fire line. If there is a fire line in your diagram, you can represent it with the large dashes interrupted by the letter F. Gas line. You would use the same symbol but letter G to represent a gas line. And there are other symbols that might not be present in your plumbing diagram, but it is usually helpful to know where the other lines are located, and here are some of these. T's and elbows. If there is a 90-degree elbow, draw a rounded angle to indicate how the pipe turns. If pipes are connected with a straight T, you will need to use a vertical line touching a horizontal one to represent the T. You can use this same symbol for a reducing T, but you will need to add numbers to each pipe to indicate how the diameter of the pipes changes. You will also need to draw P-traps in your plans or diagrams. The line that represents the pipe should form the shape of the P-trap by dropping and going back up. You will need to draw a fitting at the end of the P-trap. Turned up elbow. A turned up elbow can be represented with a circle that has a dot inside of it. Add a small dash across the pipe next to the circle to represent the fitting. Note that the vertical dash shouldn't be adjacent to the circle. Turned down elbow. You can represent a turned down elbow by drawing a circle. A portion of the pipe should be visible inside of a circle but shouldn't go far enough to touch the center of the circle. There is no dot inside of the circle, and you will need to add a dash after the circle. Double branch elbow. The symbol for a double branch elbow includes lines to form a branch of a dash across the three plumbing lines. The dashes should be placed before the intersection. Use the same symbol to represent a T, but make sure the lines forms two 90 degrees angles. Valves. These are the plumbing symbols you can use to represent valves. First, gate valve. You can represent a gate valve with two triangles facing each other. If the valve is soldered, add small circles outside of each triangle. Next is globe valves. If there are globe valves in your plumbing layout, you can use the same symbol but make sure you add a visible dot between the two triangles. Add circles outside of the triangles if the valve is soldered. Third is the top valves. Top valves are represented with two triangles connected at the narrow ends and a T shape between the triangles. And lastly, the backwater valve. A backwater valve can be represented with a circle and a slanted line drawn across it. Next is for the bathroom layout. Your plumbing diagram might need to represent different pipes and fixtures present in your bathroom. Make sure you respect proportions so that the diagram shows where each fixture is located and how much clearance is around these fixtures. Bathtub. A bathtub is usually represented by a large rectangle with a smaller rectangle inside of it. The smaller rectangle should resemble the shape of your bathtub. Some of the corners might need to be rounded. Pay attention to how the rectangles are connected to the lines that present the walls. This will indicate whether you have a corner or recessed bathtub. Next is shower. If you have a shower in your bathroom, draw a double rectangle with a cross inside of it. You can represent a shower head with a half circle adjacent to the line that represents the wall, and a line to represent the pipe behind the shower head. Lavatory. If you need to add a lavatory to your plumbing plans, you can use a double rectangle with rounded edges to represent a pedestal lavatory. You should add another small rectangle between the lavatory and the wall if you have a wall lavatory. Toilet. The best way to represent a toilet depends on the water closet unit you have. You can represent a tank type WC unit by drawing an oval for the bowl and a rectangle for the tank. If you have a toilet with an integral tank, use a triangular shape with rounded corners. And for the kitchen layout, here are the symbols that you would use. First is the kitchen sink. You can represent your kitchen sink with a rectangle inside of another rectangle. If there is a drain board next to your kitchen sink, add some horizontal lines inside of the larger triangle. Next is dishwasher. You should add appliances that will be connected to water supply lines, such as your dishwasher. All you have to do is draw a square with the letters DW inside. Washer and dryer. You can use the same technique to add your washer and dryer to your plumbing layout. Draw squares with the letters W and D inside. Radiators and other fixtures. Use a single rectangle to represent radiators. Pay attention to how the rectangle is connected to the line that represents the wall. If you have enclosed radiators, draw a rectangle with a smaller rectangle inside. The smaller rectangle should be drawn with dotted lines. Your water heater can be represented with a circle and the letters WH inside. Draw a circle with the letters WHT or HWT inside of your hot water tank. Your thermostat is represented by a circle with T inside. If there is a pump in your plumbing diagram, draw a triangle inside of a circle. Don't forget to add radiators and other fixtures to your plumbing diagrams. Next is the water meter. Your water meter is a circle with letter M underneath. Next is the drain. If you need to add a drain to your plumbing diagram, draw a rectangle with a D underneath. Or you can draw a circle and have vertical and horizontal lines inside of a circle. Now that we are already familiar with the common symbols that are used in making plumbing plan, I will show you some examples of plumbing plans and let us try to identify and read it. So this is an example of a residential plumbing plan. there. The water main is supplied and represented by the thick blue line. The thinner or lighter blue line is the cold water supply. The red line is the hot water supply, and the fixtures used in this plan are the kitchen sink, the dishwasher, the washing machine, toilet, and the lavatory. The water is supplied by the main source, carried by this line by the blue, dark blue line, going to the water heater as indicated in this legend. The HW is the water heater, and from this it will supply throughout the pipes connected to the plumbing fixtures like the dishwasher, the kitchen sink, or in this area in the bathroom, the washing machine, the toilet, and the lavatory. So another example is this, a plumbing plan for a restaurant. The water from the main source is carried by the pipe represented by the cyan color line, this one. And from the water heater, it is supplied water throughout the pipes going to the fixtures indicated in the plan. So the cold water is supplied in these fixtures, the ice maker, and to the dishwashers, the washer, to the toilets, to the lavatories, to the sinks, and another comfort room here, the toilets and the lavatories. And the hot water is also supplied here in the dishwasher and the washer and the lavatories, the sinks, and another lavatories. So that's it. So I hope you have learned something about this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Keep safe, everyone.